One, two, test, test.
Nima, I just wanted to share some breaking news that Ryan Ruth has been found guilty on all counts. We're just getting that into our live now from Fox Studio. And we were talking, really no surprise to you, as this really was quick deliberations on, on the part of the jury. Can you talk more about the fact that the jury has reached unanimously guilty on all counts?
Well, Stephanie, you got to get 12 out of 12 beyond a reasonable doubt. It's not easy. It's the highest standard under the law. But in this particular case, there was so much evidence that it was Ruth at the scene. His DNA was on the firearm. He had burner phones. I mean, all the evidence in the days and weeks leading up to this attempt, that was all laid out for the jurors. And what did Ruth do on his side? He said that again, he didn't pull the trigger. Again, it's not necessary to pull the trigger to be convicted of attempted murder. You just need a substantial step under the law. And everything that Ruth did was more than a substantial step. Then he argued essentially that he wasn't trespassing. Again, he wasn't charged with trespassing. He was charged with attempted murder, firearms offenses. Again, not really relevant to the case. And the last was, maybe the firearm was unable to shoot, and he did call firearms experts in his defense. He didn't testify himself. But again, I don't think that was a particularly good argument. Everything he did really pointed to that attempted murder conviction. That's why when it came on, I'm not shy about making predictions, but it was pretty clear the writing was on the wall. It was just a matter of wrapping up those closing arguments, and the jurors, we're going to return.
Nima, I just wanted to share some breaking news that Ryan Ruth has been found guilty on all counts. We're just getting that into our
going to do that. But the idea that this can't, and again, it's not just out of that, it's also the glorification, because again, they've glorified the murder of these people who did it in self-defense. Oh, they were, well, because they were in the wrong, they were attacking. Yeah, but for at least two of those victims, part of the reason you can kind of understand why they attacked Kyle Rittenhouse. They shouldn't have, and ultimately it was just deemed as self-defense, but there's no evil party in those two deaths. The latter two, or I'm sorry, the latter two shootings, I should say. The first shooting was definitely self-defense. The latter two were also self-defense, but there's no real villain there. But they've been villainized. They've been mocked. They've been laughed at. That's a part that you conveniently skip over because it's, again, inconvenient for your privileged position.
So I'm going to be the one to point it out because of course I am. I saw nobody else do it. Why are most of them women? Most of the people celebrating are women. Like, it's a good...
Because, quite frankly, Charlie Kirk, along with Joe Rogan, they exemplify a toxic masculinity aspect that a lot of women, center, left, really fucking hate traditional conservative kind of men, especially that conservative, restrictive, shut up woman, I'm a man, I'm speaking. And that's literally Charlie Kirk's kind of ideology. He kept saying, again, he talked out of both sides of his mouth about respecting women, then telling women, submit to your husbands. And quite frankly, fuck, yeah, that's going to piss them off. Yeah, congratulations. You insult an entire gender repeatedly, over and over again. You attack their rights. You tend to be more liberal. Congratulations, you've learned about demographics.
Like 80-20 ratio all over the internet. What is going on, ladies? Basically, the whole country is shook because last year they realized how many people would celebrate the murder of a president, and this year they realized...
Again, the amount of right-wing people who have talked about how it would be okay if Joe Biden died, how they want to see him die, how it would be fine if he died, about how he should be put in prison and executed as a traitor, which is what Charlie Kirk said. The amount of people who have talked about that, or talked about how Harris needs to go down. Like this, again, clutch your pearls harder.
Realized how many people would celebrate the murder of them. At the end of the day, this is all the inevitable conclusion of the punch a Nazi thing from like 2017. Do you guys remember that? We always knew it was a slippery slope. That's why we were against it. And they always say this dumb shit like, if you don't want to be called a Nazi, stop.
Oh, hey there, Hectic Hex. Agreed. Lock her up. Not sure who you're talking about as far as lock her up. Not sure who you're referring to as lock her up, but we'll see. So on and so on. Sure. But no, this is just, again, it's a dumb point from yeah, the slogan, yeah, lock her up. Again, it's pearl clutching of the worst sort. And I don't expect much because I know this sounds mean, but I've seen some of her content in the past. I genuinely think Shoe on Head just is kind of a... She's just kind of dumb. I think she generally has a pretty small understanding of how things work. She's never really had a good critical understanding of how things work. She doesn't want to critically engage with it. She just wanted to do memes and online culture war stuff and say snarky stuff, and just like, it's like, okay, yeah, that's great, but you're stupid. And again, like, you could say this, but like, you generally don't understand stuff. You don't understand how it works. You don't want to understand how it works. Let's see, the slogan, Night Media, they own Hassan and Asmongold and many more. I'm not sure what Night Media you mean by that, but how they own Hassan Asmongold. I'm not sure who owns, like, maybe you're talking about, what is it, like, the Amazon and Twitch streaming and all that stuff, how they own them. I don't think I think that's more of a situation, especially when it comes to streamers and stuff like that. That's more of like they're useful. They don't really threaten, especially that market share. Because as far as politics, I don't think they, at least in that avenue, I don't think they threaten either political side, and their rhetoric and divisiveness is useful for creating, again, there I'm trying to think of the actual, like, the policy, the idea in economics, especially in Wall Street, but the essential idea is that to make money on Wall Street, to make money on investments, chaos is way more lucrative in the short term than steady growth. Steady growth is nice. It actually outperforms all signed up to Night Media. I don't know if that's true or not, if they're all part of the same creator agency. I might look that up, but I'll take a look into that maybe on a different time, see if they're all part of the same thing. But the big thing is that, um, again, in short term, chaos is way more profitable than steady growth. Steady growth outperforms chaos in the long run, but nobody gives a shit. If you constantly are shifting from one point to the other point, you just create chaos. You profit off that chaos, and then you leave before the check comes and the fallout happens. So most of the media that you're looking at, whether it be again creator agencies, whether it be Amazon or Twitch or anything like that, they profit off of, ironically, viewpoint diversity, and to a certain degree, and they profit off of extremism. I also like how, like, again, just don't be a Nazi, it's pretty easy. There's 5 views on this. She pulled out one thing from 5 views.
It. And they always say this dumb shit like, if you don't want to be called a Nazi, stop being a Nazi. Even a congressman from...
Here's the interesting thing about the whole, if you don't want to be a Nazi, stop being a Nazi. Again, this shows, again, the general lack of awareness and understanding of anything that she's been dealing with over the past, I don't know how long she's had a career, probably close to 10 years on YouTube. I seem to remember her existing sometime back in the 2016s and before then, so she's been around for a while, and she still doesn't understand anything. Is that the reason why people call conservatives Nazis, or they refer to them, is because oftentimes their policy positions and the actions that would be necessary to undertake their policy, to enact it, would require a great deal of fascistic and extreme abuses of, again, rights and privileges that are reminiscent to the same things that the Nazis did. Again, I don't agree, and I think it's a lazy thing to just compare people to Nazis because it's somewhat ahistorical and unnecessary, but shorthand, like, the reason why they were calling them Nazis is they behaved like Nazis. Like, looking at this right now, the response to Charlie Kirk's murder from the Trump administration and major powerful figures, the immediate social consequences, the immediately canceled, the immediately hounding down, the immediate hunting for names to get these people banned and fired, the immediate desire to outlaw and to create terrorist designations for things that are not terrorists, like Antifa. These are just, there is no Antifa organizations. Like, it's at best a vague ideological position, but you're going to make it a terrorist thing. Why? Because then it allows you to carte blanche apply that to anybody who is anti the institution and anti the institution's authoritarian moves. You don't like Trump and you disliked him and you called him a Nazi. That sounds like Antifa rhetoric. You are going to be investigated for being a terrorist supporter. This is exactly, again, pick up a history book. I have a
Hey everyone, welcome back to Topher Drives, where today, thanks to Nissan of Canton, we are driving this 2024 Nissan Versa S. This, a lot of rev hang, kind of.
We will make you proud. We will finish the job. We will defeat the forces of darkness and evil, and we will stand every day for what is true, what is beautiful, what is good, and we will achieve victory.
Yesterday at Charlie Kirk's memorial service, where thousands gathered to mourn the death of the racist Christian nationalist bigot Charlie Kirk, supremacist memorial for right-wing activist Charlie Kirk, USA. There's going to be a lot of people here to me. I read Stephen Miller said,
the angels wept, but those tears have been turned into fire in our hearts. And that fire burns with a righteous fury that our enemies cannot comprehend or understand. When I see Erica and her strength and her courage, I'm reminded of a famous expression. The storm whispers to the warrior that you cannot withstand my strength. And the warrior whispers back, I am the storm. Erica is the storm. We are the storm. And our enemies cannot comprehend our strength, our determination, our resolve, our passion.
in that speech, Goebbels, who entitled the piece, "The Storm is Coming," said, "We think no longer in terms of class. We are not workers or middle class. We are not first of all Protestants or Catholics. We do not ask about ancestry or class. Together we share the words of the poet. People rise up and storm, break loose." Storm, we're the storm. Eric's the storm, we're the storm. Come on. It's either communicating directly to QAnon that the storm is coming, or more likely he's taken a page.
All right, rock and roll. Welcome one, welcome all to the Scorched Earth Political Podcast. I am your host, John. And if you could, hit that like and subscribe button. It means a lot to us. Hope you All right. Welcome one and all to the Scorched Earth Political Podcast. And it seems like last week, the House of Representatives actually passed a resolution honoring the life of Charlie Kirk. House Resolution 719 condemned the killing and honored his life's work. All right, rock and roll. Welcome one, welcome all to the Scorched Earth Political Podcast. I am your host, John. Hit that like and subscribe button. It means a lot to us. Feel free to leave a comment. These little magic fingers, they answer them all. Yes, they do. Yes, they do, youngsters. And let's burn it all to the effing ground. You know, it seems like the biggest political story is obviously the Charlie Kirk. The funeral's going to be this week. It should be quite the event. And prosecutors in Utah today unveiled the formal filing of charges. They are going to seek the death penalty. It does seem like this young man who's accused of the murder confessed to it in online Discord, through text messages, possibly some chats. It does seem like the Washington Post is doing a lot more than the FBI here. You know, Kash Patel had quite the grilling on Capitol Hill today. And boy, let me tell you, when Cory Booker goes after you for not releasing the Epstein files, Yeah, you got quite a day going on. But the thing that really struck me is I got a message in my text today. Somehow I am now in the Charlie Kirk network. I don't really know who is doing this surveying, but okay. And there was a video from Erica Kirk pleading for to donate to the GoFundMe for funeral expenses, for turning point expenses, for things like that. And I'm thinking, I did some research, and Forbes listed last year that him and Turning Point in his personal wealth is over $12 million. And I understand you want to get money, but you have $12 million. Why are you hitting up people? Why are you hitting up people for funeral donations? I mean, it seems kind of outlandish. And I don't want to use the word grifting because I kind of like to keep that. I like to keep that for Donald Trump himself, the $400 million jet or the golf resorts in Vietnam and Qatar, excuse me. And it really just took me back that she was kind of alluding. I got the real sense in the video that these were for funeral expenses. And I'm sure the GoFundMe is going to be overwhelmingly successful. But really, if you're going to come at it, and I understand it's a sorrowful time and you want to elicit donations when people are feeling really, really raw about it, but just ask for people to donate to Turning Point. Why do you got to put in the funeral expense part? I mean, come on, that just seems like shady and even lowbrow, even for Turning Point, But the legacy of Charlie Kirk continues, right? We say violent things, we say violent rhetoric, and even after he's gone, we got to just try and drum up a couple extra bucks cash because 12 million ain't enough, and we need to keep getting the pot a little bit bigger, right?
I went to an interview yesterday at a detention center for juveniles. It was crazy, dude. Like seeing the ages are 14 and 18, and just seeing these kids, like they're all tatted up. And they were sharing a story that the day before I was there at night, they started getting into a spaghetti fight during lunch or dinner.
Like throwing spaghetti?
Yeah, they were throwing spaghetti, but then it turned into a gang fight, like physical gang fight. So gangs against gangs, and then it turned into a racial fight. So like the blacks, the
Mexicans, Asians, and everything.
all separated and started attacking one another. I was like, damn, dude, this is actually like crazy. And I saw the kids. It's just like, honestly, I was like, the interview was like almost 3 hours long.
Yeah.
And it's just honestly like,
Sad.
it's sad, and it's like the realization, like, I did a project my last year of school on the justice system, and it's honestly
Does it
like
work?
it's not, it doesn't work because of the way it's set up. Like the system is
Doesn't
set up to fail them.
it doesn't
There's no rehabilitation.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and the rare cases that there is, it's very rare. Like for their
Very rare, and those cases, I think those people were already good people.
I mean, I don't want to say that just because you're in there, you're a bad person. Most of these kids are in there for.
I know, pretty serious crime.
Yeah,
very
they only
serious.
go there for either attempted murder, or
smuggling,
with robbery, like robbery with a deadly weapon, just anything that's like violent, crimes. So I don't know. I mean, it's just honestly like it's really sad. And they were saying that a lot of these kids like that go into the facility, they're more than likely using drugs, and they come in and they obviously check them, and they don't have any drugs on them, and many times like they end up ODing while they're there, and like they die. And so I was telling the social worker, I was like, if they're not coming in with drugs, how do they get them? Exactly. That's what I think. She didn't say that. She
knows. She's
I
playing
think she
dumb.
probably has an idea, but she was very honest through like the whole thing. But I'm sure it's like the parole officer.
It's 100%. Well, I mean, you hear the stories all the time. I mean, I just heard.
It's like a very flawed.
Very flawed. No, it's very corrupt. And at the moment that those sheriffs do something out of line, they're gonna tell on them, and they're in jail. So they're always gonna keep doing bad things until you.
I know, that's what I was telling Brandon. It's like I would want to work there, honestly, for them, for the kids. But then I think of like all the corruption that there is, and it's more scary for me to deal with the staff members and to deal with the kids, because the kids don't scare me. Like, I'm not scared by the
yeah.
kids.
No, I know.
I'm more scared by the people I'll be working with.
Yeah.
Like, that's what scares me.
I mean, to be honest, if they pay good, I just, keep your head down. Don't, I mean, I know a lot of people that work for government jobs and they don't ever interact with any of those. Like, I know
No, but
people.
I'd be interacting with them, with the kids.
No, I know, but like,
Oh, with
like,
appeals?
yeah, I don't think you'll be
I
ever,
would, because
rarely.
any session that I have with the kids, appeals have to be part of it. Like, not like part of it, but securing me.
Right, right, of course. No, of
Yeah.
course. But they're not gonna have to give the two takes, they're just there for
No,
guarding,
no.
like that's what I'm saying, like, but also too, like, I guess that's also one thing you gotta be careful what you say, because it's like,
No, yeah,
it's like,
for sure. I don't know, but it was just a crazy environment to be in. Like, actually, you have to go through, like, when I get there, you are buzzed in through one, like, big, like, just fence of security,
Yeah,
and then you're
yeah.
buzzed in through another one, and then another one, and just everyone in there is, like, on edge. Like, it's just a crazy environment. It's not a normal, typical working environment, but
these are kids,
these are
dude.
kids,
These are
and it makes me
kids.
so sad for them.
These are
And there's,
kids.
like, a whole thing, like, honestly, anything with the justice system is so interesting to me, but she was telling me that it's crazy because the DOJ will go into the facility and they lie. Like, they'll tell the public, like, yeah, we have like these healing, like, that's going on.
Yeah, I've seen it. I know. Propaganda. Propaganda.
Exactly.
Propaganda,
Just
yeah.
to post like articles and stuff. But when you actually go in there, since Trump came
crap.
into
Yeah,
office,
it's
there
crap.
used to be 22 to 25 open camps, which the camps is where I would be working, which are after you go to jail, you're sentenced to a judge. The judge sentenced you to camp based on the crime, just because you're still underage. So it's basically to rehabilitate. But if you do good in the camp, then your charges get dropped. But if you do bad, then you go back to jail.
Right, right.
But anyway, she was telling me that there used to be 22 to 25 open camps in California, which is still not that many, but there was a lot. Now there's only 2 camps. And now these camps are being overflowed. And because in the juvenile detention centers, it's even more overflowed.
Chaotic, yeah.
So now that's why it's like, I don't know, it's just crazy, like, our justice.
Well, I mean, just not yesterday, last week, there was a the Department of Justice of California sued the LA sheriffs for their condition at the juvenile hall, because there is it's very inhumane.
I did see that.
Yeah, that was just last week. So yeah, I mean, this is nothing new. Like,
I know, but it's just it makes me sad more than anything for the kids, because they don't even stand a chance.
Damn, no,
they're
set up. They're set up.
They already grow up in this environment when their parents are probably more than likely, gang members.
Yeah.
And like, for them to go, like, already be born into this life.
Yeah.
And for them to get help, like, by going to these camps and going to get rehabilitated, and then they go and it's not at all what you would think it is. And it's just like, it makes me angry, like, honestly, because we spend so much money on stupid shit, and we have to pay taxes, and our tax money goes to all this bullshit that
I know.
Trust me. Frustrating.
Trust me.
So she was just sharing, like, I want to be honest with you, like, these 2 camps close, and we won't even know if, like, we'll be up in a few months, like, because of how many cuts there are being. Like,
honestly, I also would be careful too, because some of these cases, some of these people, and I'm not gonna lie, like, you're right, like, cops are more scary than some of those kids in there.
Yeah, I mean, the reason why these kids probably end up going to prison for the rest of their lives is because they're
antagonized.
They're antagonized.
Exactly. Yeah, they're
And
antagonized.
just seeing these POs, like, I can just tell already, like, they're lazy as fuck. Like, they're just
they're getting their paycheck. They're getting their paycheck. Yeah.
Which they don't get paid well. Like, you would think that those people get paid well.
It's better than most. It's better than people without a college degree. That's what it is. It's like,
I don't know what you have to do to be a PO, but
not much.
And I asked her, I was like, okay, because I want to know, like, if I work here, what is it that I can really do? Because there's a lot of things I can't do. Like, you made that clear. Like, if I want to do, like, some type of group therapy session, can I bring this and can I bring that? It's like, no, you can't bring that because the kids will turn it into a weapon.
Right. Safety.
Safety. So it's like, what can I do then? Like,
Yeah. What's the point?
And so I was trying to figure it out, and really, like, because if I can do this, then how is it that I can bring people from the outside, people that can come in and talk to these kids, or even do, like, a documentary to see what's going on and interview these kids? Or Like, can I get funders? Like, can I like raise money to get these kids like supplies and
Yeah.
things that they need? And you can't do any of that because it's county funded.
Yeah, it's all by
So
state.
it's all by the county of
Yeah.
Los Angeles, which
They
it's
don't
like,
care.
so what's the point of having these centers if there's very limited things that we can do? And they're just gonna increase security. Apparently, like the thing that they did get an approval for funding is like now there's gonna be even more security.
More cops, more.
Yeah.
Hmm. Yeah. No, I know. Trust me, Yosemite. I've known for a long time. I honestly, I really do hate the police. Like, I hate them because I don't want to pay for the services.
It's just crazy.
It is crazy. It's sad. It's
It's
super.
really sad. I know, and that's what I was thinking. If I worked here, I feel like I'd get really depressed. Just
Yeah,
like seeing these
definitely.
faces and these kids.
That, or you just convert. You know, you'll just become like soulless, like some of those people that just, you know, it's just another everyday incident. They even make mock of it. They laugh about it sometimes.
I know, that
you
really
know.
makes me upset, especially when it's a social worker. When they, thankfully, I haven't met many social workers like that. The ones that are more like that are typically either psychologists because they don't have that background in training. They're more like analytical,
Yeah.
or the MFTs. Like those are other people that I don't really like collaborating with those people. I have to, but I don't like it. I mean, there's corruption everywhere, and just like I'm sure not every psychologist is like that.
No,
And
no, of course not.
every
Not,
MFT is
no.
like that, and not every social worker is that great.
Not every PO, not every. No, of course not. It's
But I
just the
feel like
system.
with
It's the system.
With the small bunch that are good, there's way more.
Way more. It's not
bad.
enough. Yeah.
And I think even the ones that are good end up even being bad, like you said, because of how much they see, and at some point it's like this is just a job.
That, and also they get targeted too. I think good
Yeah.
ones get targeted a lot.
I don't know, but I'll see what I end up doing. I mean, I think they do lots of county jobs.
No, it's
Better
no,
people
it's
do
it's a
them,
good job. Yeah.
But I don't know if I take it. I'm still thinking. I have another actually interview for the Twin Towers.
Twin
The
Towers.
Twin
Oh
Towers
no,
jail.
fuck that one. I already know what you're gonna do.
What?
Over there at the health staff, they're just gonna be checking out, evaluating people.
Yeah, you got
Yeah.
the biopsychosocials.
Yeah,
And
they
they're-
evaluated me. You're gonna
they're
tell.
a social worker.
Yeah, you're gonna tell people if they deserve to be in general or in locked up.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
what I would be.
Yeah, that's exactly what they did to
Do
me.
you know who was the one that took?
It was some Asian lady.
Let me get to that.
Yeah, no, I know exactly how the rundown goes. They're gonna just, you know, be like, oh, you know, what experiences you have, you got just a bunch of questions, and then they're gonna be like, okay, you'll be in solitary confinement, and then they'll just give you your clothes, and that's it. That job is also honestly, that I felt bad for that lady because she also looked like just so crushed. Like that Asian lady looked like she just like she did
Yeah.
not want to be there.
I know. I think after going here, it's like I kind of have an idea of even probably worse what it's gonna be like in the Twin Towers. This is a whole ass facility.
Those are, yeah,
This
those
is a
are, yeah.
smaller facility. It's a camp, like, and you're surrounded by. It's beautiful right there. The camp is really pretty. It's in Laverne, and it's in like the hills of Laverne. It's
Wow,
like
that's crazy.
surrounded by $1 million homes.
I did
And
not expect that.
Yeah, and I started looking up like, and there's another one I got an interview for, but I turned it down because it's all the way in Malibu. It's surrounded by all those $12 million homes. The camps are doing them like in really pretty places, and usually those places were level 2 facilities, which means like non-violent.
Yeah.
crimes. But because of the overflow, they're accepting level 4, which is like the highest
Right,
level of
right.
violent crimes. Which is interesting because
That's
and a lot of people, like the people who live in the surrounding areas, are saying we don't want this here.
It makes sense why a lot have left over the years, over those areas. That makes sense.
I mean, they're really secluded, but they're surrounded by these big houses. And
No,
these,
I
like,
know,
really
yeah.
rich people.
That's why they have such strong security.
Yeah.
That's why they have such strong
Which
security.
makes sense because these people, you know, they're not gonna let their neighborhood go to trash. Yeah.
You know, and especially the moment one gets released, you know, on accident or whatever, gets escapes, the community's gonna just be all, you know,
Yeah,
how
I
they
don't
are.
think there's never been an escape. I asked about that. I said, has there anyone ever escaped?
How can you?
Yeah.
That's
Anyway.
crazy.
I'm more like wondering what it's gonna be like in this one over here.
At the Twin Towers?
Yeah, the Twin Towers facility.
It'll be about the same, just with older people.
That's
You're
what she
gonna,
said.
yeah, and you're just gonna see more crazies. There's a lot
Yeah,
of
that's what she
crazies.
told me.
Yeah,
She's like, are you okay working with like murders? Are you okay working with like child predators?
yeah, it would be crazies there. It's crazy.
Which is really interesting. Like that is an interesting population to work with.
I don't know. There's so many. You know, when I was in there was a dude that was a schizophrenic, and he would bang his head on the wall
Yeah,
every
that's what
4
they told
hours.
me.
Yeah, some crazy shit. But you know what? That schizophrenic guy, he made friends with me. And he was kind. I just felt bad because he was 32.
What was he in for?
He was in there because I think it was just because he was making like threats to a cop. And like he would keep doing it too. Like in the jail cell, he kept like saying to the cop, like, bam! Like as he implying he's gonna shoot him. That guy was crazy, but like, you know, he honestly, like, he wasn't a dangerous guy. He just seemed like he just needed medication.
Yeah. A lot of these people just need to be on meds, but
That, or just, you know, have a cushy someplace to live.
that's the
That's
big
it.
thing. We don't have our basic. We don't get our basic needs met in this country.
Just a basic.
And
That's
a
it.
lot of
Basic
people-
needs.
A lot of people like basic human rights are not given here in this country, and that's
It's
why
all
there's
for
so
profit.
much mental health.
It's all for profit. It's all
for
for
the people
profit.
who end up making the money.
And it's not until those people for profit, like, unfortunately, until they get the Charlie Kirk treatment, because those people don't value human life. They just value the profit.
It's capitalism.
It's capitalism, and that's literally, it's sad to say, but it's like, you know, it's hard. It's hard to get into their mind. It's like, what, like, because a lot of the time they swear to you they're Jesus followers. They swear to you. There was a lady at the jail cell. She was wearing a fucking big ass Jesus piece, and I'm like, how can a fucking parole officer wear a Jesus piece?
Did you tell her?
No, I don't want to, like, you know, but still, like, I just thought to myself, I was like, that's really ironic.
How are they like when you're in there? The
Terrible.
paroles. I
They're
know.
terrible.
Dude, I got yelled at right
Yeah,
there
they're
by a parole
terrible.
officer. I was like, bro, I'm just here for an interview.
Yeah, they're power trip. They're terrible.
That's what their role. That's what they get paid for, to be
Stanford
terrible.
experiment.
Yeah,
Stanford experiment right
yeah,
there.
they're basically shit.
Yeah.
Which makes me angry, honestly. And I don't know. I feel like working in that environment would probably make me really depressed.
That one is worse than the kids one. That one is, I'll tell you that, just because of the amount of crazy you'll counter. You'll counter crazy with something. Like,
Yeah.
crazy. Like, I'm not even lying. Like,
But
that
I am
place is.
interested. I want to at least get the experience because I do want to go back to school.
If
and
it
I
pays
feel like
well, if it pays well, do it then.
I think they pay better actually over here. I mean, I think it's around the same, but I think it's probably like 10,000 more.
You know, if they pay well, do it. You'll send million. I mean, that's all in the end of the day. Just go at your paycheck.
I mean, yes, but also I don't know. I think I don't want to be a social worker for life. Like after seeing all of this, like
It's too much.
no, not too much because I am interested in it. Like it genuinely, it's a curiosity thing
Yeah.
for me.
But you want to be in a different field
Mm,
of social life, social work, like
no.
more theory, more research. You want to do research rather than field work.
Well, you have to start as field work.
Right, exactly. But
So yeah, I think research does interest me, but I think I would. I don't know. I think I really like the medical. Like I like the medical.
mm,
But you're very limited to what you can do with medical because you're only really there to provide resources. But I think long term, it's like whatever really makes me like the most money, so I can move on to something different. Like I don't think I see myself being a soul. I would want to give back to this community, like the community we're raised in.
honestly, I think it's too late. This community is already changing too much. I was walking and it's just like it's not the same anymore. It's not the same. I think I told you. I'm not sure if you knew, but did you know that in 1940? Yeah, 1940. Did you know that this East LA used to be a Jewish community, and Boyle Heights used to be a German community, and that's why Roosevelt and Garfield have a rivalry, was because of the Jews and the Germans of World War II, and then they all moved out during the 60s, and the Mexicans started to come in here, but they kept that rivalry, that Garfield versus
Yeah.
Roosevelt rivalry, that classic. But, you know, that's just to give you an idea that just in 20 years, you know, that whole community changed. And it looks like this community's changing
It
here
is
too.
changing, but there's still kids here who are living.
No,
I
no,
mean
yeah.
more like the community, like where we grew up and like the stuff like.
That's no. I think this community. I honestly, I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I think, to be honest, I think just the system needs to change. Did you see that Kimmel's coming back? Did you see that Kimmel's coming back?
Oh yeah, I did.
Yeah, we are Kimmel.
Yeah. Yeah, I did see that. I heard he's gonna bring in Gavin Newsom as his first guest.
That's just such a really right. That's crazy.
I'll get out with him on this one. Is that good? It's me.
This year is the